to launch Revita BLU in Europe. I should say Greater Europe because it includes Middle East and many places. And a big thank you to Wendy, to Randy, Scott, the whole Jeunesse team. There's a lot of work behind the launch of a new product. So thank you to the whole team. Now, Revita BLU is the results of about 18 years of research in the field of stem cell research. And the reason why so many scientists are interested into researching stem cells and what stem cells can do, it's because there is the general recognition that adult stem cells have an immense regenerative power. They can really regenerate. And that's why there's so much interest in stem cells. But these stem cells don't have more potential when we take them out and put them back into you. They are in your body as we speak right now. As you're sitting here, stem cells are in your bone marrow, in your blood, in virtually every tissue of your bodies. They've been there since the day you're born, and they will be there for every day of your life. So if they have such regenerative potential, then what are they doing in your body? What is the natural role of stem cells in the body? And when we understand this, it really provides us, literally, a novel understanding of health and wellness. And I think that it may even be called to change the way that we practice medicine. Now, I won't have the time today to share all the science behind Revita BLU, but I hope to give you at least a good understanding that there is a lot of science behind this product and an understanding of what this product can do for you. So Revita BLU is about stem cells. So the starting point is to understand what is a stem cell. The best way to define what is a stem cell is to define what is not a stem cell. Every cell in your tissue, they're generally called somatic cells. They are cells that are specialized. They do one specific thing. They will never transform, and normally they do not multiply. A cell of your retina will only be excited by light. A cell of your muscle will only contract. It's never going to do anything else. It's never going to transform. At the other end of the spectrum, you have stem cells. Stem cells are in many tissues of the body, but essentially in the bone marrow, and they have been known, they're nothing. They don't do anything in your body. The role of stem cells is in their potential to transform into something else, into a somatic cell. So they're sort of a mother cell. Now, historically, or I should say traditionally, stem cells have been known to be precursors to blood cells. White blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets, and that's it. They were not known to become anything else. But in the early 2000s, scientists started to observe and publish in the scientific literature that stem cells had the ability of becoming other types of cells. I can't tell you how much a breakthrough that is. This is almost like showing or discovering that we have a way to transform a cat into a horse. That's the impact that it had in science. It was huge. So when my colleague, Dr. Gitte Jensen and I, when we started to look at this information, that stem cells have the ability of becoming cells of other tissues, what was obvious to us was that if they can, then they must. I mean, it just cannot be a sort of interesting observation to see that stem cells can become cells of other tissues. If they do, then it must be with a purpose. So stem cell must be the natural repair system of the body. So we published this proposition, this theory, this hypothesis in a journal called Medical Hypotheses. At the time, it was just an idea. Now fast forward 15, 18 years later, and let's talk about what we know today, which is today very well accepted. This is what is happening in your body. Anytime there is an injury or a problem, something is not working okay in your body, the affected tissue will release compounds that will travel into the blood, reach the bone marrow, and when they reach the bone marrow, they will trigger the detachment of stem cells from the bone marrow, and the stem cells will get on into the bloodstream. So you will increase the number of stem cells in circulation. So within about 2-3 days, peaking on the 5th day, you will have an increase of anywhere between 3 to 10 times in the number of circulating stem cells. Now these stem cells don't know where to go. When they are released, they don't know what is the tissue that has called for stem cells. So they circulate everywhere. It's a little bit like your immune system. If you have a cut and you have an infection, your immune cells will go everywhere in your body, but they will end up in one specific location, which is the cut where you have an infection. Same phenomenon here. Starting on the second day, the affected tissue will release other compounds locally that will attract stem cells to that tissue. So as stem cells circulate everywhere in the body, when they circulate into the fine capillaries of the affected tissue locally, those compounds will touch the stem cells and it will trigger their migration out of the blood into the tissue. When the stem cells arrive in the tissue, they keep seeing where these molecules are being secreted from, so they will literally crawl to the site of the injury, and upon contact with cellular debris of that tissue, they will multiply and transform into cells of that tissue, repairing the tissue. Isn't that a beautiful process? This is your repair system. It's been working in your body since the day that you are born. It will work until the day you die. We have not invented anything. We've just discovered that it was there and it was happening in the body. So we've got these various steps. We have the release of stem cells from the bone marrow, their circulation in the bloodstream, their migration into tissues, their proliferation, and their transformation. Of all these steps that are all essential to have full repair, the aspect that has been the most studied is the release of stem cells from the bone marrow, and the consequence of which is an increase in the number of stem cells in circulation. So a lot of research is focused on that, the link between health and the number of stem cells in circulation. And the key conclusions are the following. More stem cells in circulation means that more stem cells are available to participate to the normal process of tissue repair. So you take two persons with the same problem, let's say a cut on your skin or a broken bone, it doesn't matter. The same problem, the person with more stem cells in their bloodstream will repair better. We all have a different number of stem cells in circulation, just like we have each a different number of red blood cells, white blood cells, everything that we have in the blood. The range is pretty big. So people with more stem cells simply repair better. Second conclusion, for any one individual that has anything happening in their body, if I can put more stem cells in circulation, then I enhance the ability of the body to repair. And these studies have been done studying problems of the heart, cardiovascular problem, the lung, kidney, the liver, the pancreas, the central nervous system, the skin. Virtually every aspect of human health can be affected by putting more stem cells in circulation. The third conclusion, which is to me, I think, the most important. So if there's something to remember of what we're talking about today, it's this aspect. Is that as a scientist, we're doing research on stem cells, looking at the ability of stem cells to repair tissues. What was observed is that stem cells do not only migrate where there is an injury, they also migrate in the background to a lesser extent everywhere in the body. Every day of our lives, they maintain our tissues. So they go into the tissue and they replace the cells that have been lost. Traditionally, and that's what I mean when I say that it's called to change, or it is changing our understanding of health and wellness. That's what I mean. Our understanding here today of health and wellness and the process of aging and developing problems as we age is linked to this view. We are born, we mature, at age 20 to 25, we reach peak health, and then after that, it's a slow decline. As we lose cells, if we lose cells in the pancreas, then it's called diabetes. We lose cells making dopamine in the brain, it's called Parkinson. You lose cells in the thyroid gland, it's called hypothyroidism. You lose cells anywhere, and then it defines what kind of problem you experience as you age. But the science on stem cells is telling us that that's not what's happening. What is happening is that everything is a balance between the cells that I lose every day and the ability of replacing these cells with stem cells. As long as I maintain that balance, the body can maintain itself. It's like your bank account. As long as your income matches your expenses, you're fine. You get into trouble when your income slowly no longer matches your expenses. And that's what happens when we age. As we age, the bone marrow, the red marrow that makes stem cells, slowly transform into yellow marrow. So it's a normal process of aging. We release fewer and fewer stem cells. So there's a moment in our life when that balance slowly is shifted and we do not repair or maintain our tissue fast enough to keep it from developing problems. Scientists have, and these studies were done, if you count the number of stem cells in the bloodstream of people who have developed problems linked to the heart, to the cardiovascular system, pancreatic function, kidney function, some aspects of brain function, even erectile dysfunction, metabolic syndrome. People who have developed problems like these all have on average a little bit less than half the number of stem cells in healthy people. So there is a direct link between how many stem cells you have in your blood and the ability of the body to maintain itself or repair. So once we understand this, we want to find a way to put more stem cells in our bloodstream, don't we? Let me mention something here just a little bit philosophical, but I think it's important. In our world today, how do we define health? If you think about it, we define health as the absence of disease. But it's kind of a bizarre way to define health. We get used to the fact that we don't run as fast as we used to run. We don't sleep as well. We don't have as good a memory. The vision is not as good as it used to be. We get up in the morning with a lot of little aches and pains, but we grow with the concept, we age with the concept that this is normal as we age. It's normal simply because we define health as the absence of a diagnosis. Today, the best that we have in medicine is preventive medicine. And I'm not criticizing preventive medicine, but the only thing you can achieve when you want to prevent the problem is that you don't have the problem. It's like saying the best way to be wealthy is to prevent poverty. You'll never be wealthy if what you want is to prevent poverty. You'll simply not be poor. You need a strategy to be wealthy if you want to be wealthy. You need a strategy for health if you want to be healthy. So when we discover what is the health system in the body, what your body does naturally since the day you're born to keep you healthy is to release themselves. Once we understand this, then we can go so much further than just preventing problems. We can allow the body to maintain its own health. And that is powerful. That's what I mean when I say it's going to change the way that we practice medicine, because we don't have to wait that we start to have problems. We can tap, once we've discovered it, we can tap into the body's innate ability to be healthy. So once we understand this, we want to put more stem cells in circulation. How can we do this? So this is how it starts, or how it started when I was studying the blue-green algae that Mark talked about, Phanes aminophilus aqua. So I started to study this plant in 1994. People were reporting all kinds of benefits touching various aspects of human health, and we could not explain or understand why it was bringing such a broad variety of benefits. And it's around that time that these observations about stem cells started to come. So our thought was, if stem cells are the repair system of the body, what if this plant were to trigger or to support the natural release of stem cells from the bone marrow? So we went into the lab, we tested it, and we discovered that's what it does. Within an hour of consumption, we have an increase of about 30% in the number of circulating stem cells. But then, to me, it was impossible to think that there would be only one plant that supports stem cell release. We have grown in symbiosis with the environment. There has to be other plants. So I researched a number of plants over the years, and I came across probably one of the most interesting ones about 3 years ago, which is sea buckthorn berry. In science, most plants are named according to physical characteristics. Like the plant before, Phanes aminophilus aqua means invisible flower of water, what it looks like. But Hippophae, the Latin name for sea buckthorn, means shining horse. It comes from Alexander the Great, traveling in western China during his conquest, and at some point he abandoned a herd of horses wounded in battle into a field of sea buckthorn. He came back a few weeks later and he found a herd of vibrant, healthy horses with a shiny coat, which is a sign of health for horses. Same thing was reported by Genghis Khan. From there, it incorporated into Mongolian medicine, Tibetan medicine, Chinese medicine, where it has been used for centuries for the health of the lung, the heart, the cardiovascular system, the pancreas. It accelerated the healing of injuries. So all of these things, to me, says stem cells. So we went in the lab, we tested it, and we saw a sustained release that reached anywhere between 30 to 40% in the number of circulating stem cells. So Revita BLU is essentially a blend of plants that have all been documented to support various aspects of stem cell function in the body, supporting the natural role of stem cells in the body. Now, when I started to work with Revita BLU and started to talk with Jeunesse about Revita BLU, Dr. Donna Antar told me, you've got to go and study the other products that are in Jeunesse's product line, because you'll be surprised what you see. So I went and studied them, and then first I found, obviously, these are really, really top quality products. But I was really amazed to see the synergy between Revita BLU and these products. They work together. I don't think I could have found a company to bring a product like Revita BLU, a company with a better product line. So let's see a few of these synergies. First, with Reserve. When you release stem cells in the bloodstream, there is one thing that can prevent or reduce the ability of stem cells to see where are the tissues that are in need of repair, and it's oxidative stress. So if you take Reserve, you reduce oxidative stress and you enhance the ability of stem cells to find where to go in the body. Resveratrol was also documented to support proliferation of stem cells in the bone marrow. So you take both products separately, they work. You take them together, they really have a great synergy. Another great synergy is with the serum. What is oftentimes not talked about fully, although it was, Mark mentioned it, is that the serum has peptides that support the role of stem cells in the skin. But one of these roles is to attract stem cells from the blood circulation and support their natural process in the skin. So if you've got more stem cells in circulation, then you've got more stem cells to attract and to work with. So both product works. Put them together, you've got a really nice synergy. When stem cells migrate in a tissue, one stem cells will become a few thousand tissue cells. So if you release 4 to 6 million new stem cells, this is a potential of many billion tissue cells. So when we understand this, we see the magnitude that is taking place in the tissue and the metabolic demand of this process. So we need to provide these cells all the vitamins and minerals that they need, but more importantly, where genetic stability and integrity matters is when you get cells that proliferate. So at that moment when these cells proliferate, you want a product that can protect the DNA. So great synergy with AM/PM. Another great synergy, there you go. Another great synergy is with Zen, for the same reason. As stem cells multiply and repair tissues, the body is to a large extent made of protein. So you need amino acids to really rebuild. And here I won't have the time to go into all of the details, but when you really embrace the Zen lifestyle with exercise, then you will see that releasing stem cells also help repair microlesions and muscles when you really give it your full extent in exercising. Last one, Reveal. Reveal is essentially Luminesse for the scalp. The same phenomenon is taking place to revive hair follicle stem cells, melanocyte stem cells. Stem cells go from the blood to the skin, and then they revive, if you want, the scalp. So when you couple the two together, you've got a great synergy. So whoever came up with the tagline to say, your best you, was a genius, because that's what the product does. The product will not do any miracle. The only thing the product will do is that it's going to give back to your body the opportunity to be the best that it can be. And that can be really wonderful. So try it, see what it can do for you, and then I'll talk to you on the road. Thank you.